Hello there, my name's Matt and welcome to my channel called Shifa. This channel exists for the purpose of giving encouragement and information to people who are in a state of chronic illness and who are trying to heal themselves through natural methods and with their own effort. In this video, I'm starting a new series and the focus is going to be on the main traps that exist on the path of healing, on our journey towards healing. The thought patterns or habits which cause us to stumble in our process of healing. And the first trap I want to speak about is one that I believe a lot of people in the alternative medicine world have got caught in. And that trap is tribalism. Tribalism basically means if you go back long enough in human history, there was a time when there were tribes, people in smaller villages, and there would be tribe A and there would be tribe B, and they would be enemies simply because this is tribe A and this is tribe B. If you were born in tribe A, tribe B would be your enemy, or vice versa. And this is the exact same principle that's taken hold in human nature, and even today it takes on a number of different forms. For example, I support Liverpool, you support Manchester, or I use iPhone, you use Android. There are millions of different examples we could give for this situation. And I want to speak about why tribalism is a problem and how it reflects on alternative medicine and the process of a person trying to heal themselves. Now, while I was giving these examples like football teams or Apple, Android, another example that can come to mind is to do with a very important argument within the world of dieting and healing and detox, which is which diet is the better diet? Is it veganism or is it the carnivore diet? Well, this is a very classic example of tribalism, because you find that people who say that veganism is the correct diet, the right way to eat in order to be healthy, they are also almost always saying that the carnivore diet is wrong and it will damage your body. And the same thing exists the other way around. People who support the carnivore diet say that the vegan diet is insufficient, it won't give you enough protein, and there are always a number of different arguments to be made from both sides. In speaking about this subject, we have to take a step out of the argument itself and start realizing how absurd the argument is. Because quite often the reasons why we choose sides with different things like this are actually very simplistic and illogical reasons. In the example of football teams, let's say, if a young boy is born in the UK in Liverpool, then is there not a good chance that he's going to grow up and be a fan of Liverpool as a football team? Or if he was born in Manchester, then there's a good chance that he's going to support Manchester. And yet each side will always have arguments as to why their side is the better side, when in reality there isn't really any logical foundation as to why a person is supporting one team or another. Similarly with the argument of veganism and the carnivore diet, I think that the problem is sometimes, for example, one person will start learning about alternative medicine and different things they can do to heal themselves, and then for some reason the first video that comes up about diet for them is someone speaking about veganism, and let's say the person speaking is speaking with some fervor, with some energy, and then that person is affected by what they see and they think, okay, veganism is the right way to go. And then because they've just watched this video on veganism, the YouTube algorithm gives them more videos on the subject of veganism, and then the algorithm starts giving them videos of vegans saying bad things about the carnivore diet, and this goes on and on like this. The same exact story could exist for someone who is initially drawn to the carnivore diet. They might simply have been led down that road. They might simply have come across the right people saying the right things, supporting the carnivore diet, saying that it's the best way to be healthy, and then that will be the path that they take. And when we're talking about things to do with our health and our healing, of course it is actually very important for us to find the diet that will heal, that will help our body to heal. So when looking at an argument like this between veganism and the carnivore diet, naturally we are asking the question of, well, which is the better diet? Should I go vegan or should I do the carnivore diet? And which one is going to heal me quicker and better? It's completely natural to be asking that question and to want an answer with regards to that question. But the problem with tribalism is that tribalism is based on the simple idea that there is such thing as better, and that there is always a better and a worse. In some cases, of course, there is a better and a worse. For example, if you took a diet which, let's call it the McDonald's diet, and veganism, which one is better? Of course, veganism is going to heal you better than just eating McDonald's. But in the case of the vegan diet versus carnivore diet argument, we do have good evidence that both of them work. A lot of people say they have very good evidence that there are a lot of problems with veganism and that there are a lot of problems with the carnivore diet. Well, how do we get out of this whole thing? What is the key to getting out of this trap of tribalism and having to choose a side? In my opinion, when we take a step back and observe the whole situation, the argument, from a standpoint of wisdom, what we can find is that the question being asked is always wrong. It's always which one is better, when in reality the question we should be asking ourselves if we're trying to heal our chronic illness is which one is better for me? Which one is better for you? Which one is better for that person? And when we ask this question, we are able to be free from this illogical argument and all of this tribalism nonsense. No one needs to be carrying a flag here, because in reality, both veganism is very helpful for the right people, and the carnivore diet is very helpful for the right people. You can't say that everyone in the world should be vegan and it will be the thing that heals them. And you can't say that everyone in the world should eat meat and it will be the thing that heals them. We even have some logical proof to this. In certain cultures in the world for thousands of years, there are people, types of people and societies that have eaten vegetables. Think of it like this: you, your mother and father, your grandfather's grandfather, generations and generations have eaten, let's say, vegetables. And after all those generations, it's only logical to assume that from generation to generation, the DNA makeup of those people has become acclimatized, gotten used to that kind of food. So you have to consider for yourself, what is the right way of eating for me? And one way of considering this is, what is the culture that I come from? In this way of thinking, we can find a logical solution to this question of what is the right diet for me. Another way of thinking about this, which I find fascinating and in many ways so logical, is within the ancient medicine system of India, it's known that there are different body types, and according to different body types and the characteristics of people's bodies, there are correct ways of eating. And within that system, it's possible to do certain tests to figure out what you should be eating. Should you be eating more meat, or should you be eating more vegetables? There are many different aspects of your diet which you can gain information about from that system. If you want to look into that and do tests about that subject, you can look at Ayurveda, which is a name for natural healing methods within Indian culture. Another way that you should be looking into understanding what's right for you and what's wrong for you is simply testing out different foods and seeing how your body reacts, because the primary way of understanding our body should be simply to communicate with our body directly. If you eat something and it makes you feel bad, if it gives you headaches, if it makes you nauseous, if it makes you extremely tired, these are all things that we can use to understand whether food is good for us or not. And interestingly, for example, in my own life, I've always known that if I eat a large amount of meat, it doesn't really process very well in my body, in the sense that it makes me tired and gives me fatigue and different things. Whereas if I eat more vegetable-based meals, then my body feels a lot more energetic. When I went to look at my own body type within Ayurvedic medicine, I found that that was exactly what it told me. I should not be eating so much meat, I should be eating more vegetables. So that kind of a diet is logical for me. For yourself, I recommend you use these three basic logical ideas. What is the genetic makeup of your body? What have your ancestors been eating for hundreds or thousands of years? It's logical that you should be eating similarly. What can you find out about your body through Ayurvedic medicine? That's a test you can do. And third, look at what happens when you eat different foods and how you feel based on eating that food. Go through a process of trying different diets if necessary, and by doing that you can gain an understanding of what's right for your body. Using all of those three systems, we can get out of the trap and the illogical argument of tribalism. I would recommend that you consider this argument of tribalism not just within alternative medicine, but every area of life, because the world is shaped in such a way and is controlled in such a way that we're forced into camps. You are in team A and I'm in team B, and we hate each other. This has always been how everything is set up. But if we can learn to take a step back and see that the reasons that we're in each camp is not logical, then we can be a lot more free as human beings. That's my recommendation for you for this video. I hope this has been helpful. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this, and don't forget to like and share this video. See you next time.